Hi, everybody. Jim Rickards, J. Rickards Winery. We're at dinner at my house with Brad Mercury Winery, and we're pairing up today my harvest soup, I call it. It's actually butternut squash and acorn squash, and we kind of grind it up and with magic herbs and spices, and we have it with our Zinfandel. This is a little Aquasacea's in. It means the harvest. So it's kind of cool in that way. And Brad?
All right, my friends, we're back having a great time. A couple of quick things to take care of. If you have any questions, please chat them in. If it's a question that needs immediate attention, there's a little button that you can on the lower right-hand side that you can raise your hand. And we've got two awesome people back there to let us know what your needs are. And don't forget, we are recording this, but we are not recording you. It is just us, so we can post this later. If you do live, or if we do bring you on and you talk, your voice will be heard, but they will not see you. And there we go.
We got Jude on the computer answering questions.
And talking to everybody.
And being heard over there. And then JJ is back behind there, invisible to everyone, and but magically present in his fingertips. Okay, the electrons are his out there. So we're good to go. And we're going to change pace a little bit. We're going to eat first and talk later.
It's hot soup.
Yes,
it's hot soup.
It's hot soup. So let's make it happen.
And now we've paired this Vermont cheese with the Zinfandel in a way. What it does, remember, we got to do our tasting. Taste the wine first, the food, and then the combination. That's how you see whether it works or not. So let's try it.
Perfect. All right. So we've got the three Valley Zin blend.
And the cheddar is Cabot, which is a cheese cooperative in Vermont. And this one is from the Jasper Hill Cellars Cheese Company. It was cave aged for 2-3 years, cloth wrapped. Got it at the Fancy Ass Cheese Company. I'm sure that's a trademark out there that you all know. And it really is a lovely pairing. Nutty, salty, yeah.
All of those things, and that wonderful nuttiness is, I think, really balances out that, it's a big white cheddar that is now balanced out with that. And then with the wine.
For me, what it does is make this big ball in my mouth. The tannins and the structure of the cheese enhance each other. So you have this big, wonderful, pleasurable taste. Okay?
Have your soup.
All right.
Okay,
we got the soup. All right, we got the cheese out of the way. Everybody, and if you just nibble along with that, that is fine. Jim's going to be pouring us up some soup.
Now, what we've got in the bottom of this, the soup here, is a mixture of croutons, our baked
State walnuts,
and also some
yard clippings.
No, not yard.
Lawn clippings.
No.
Vineyard clippings.
Yes,
vineyard clippings.
There you go. Yeah.
And so
it's a combination of wild radish, wild mustard, and our wild onion, and it's just a really nice complement to the soup as well. Well, we're going to be throwing a little creme fraiche on it and a little cream sherry, just because we like cream sherry.
Should.
And the cheese is, again, the Cabot cheese. We could have gotten wonderful cheeses anywhere up and down the West Coast. In Washington State, there's Washington State University. They make a Cougar Gold, which is one of the most fantastic white cheddars. Then also our friends from Utah State University. That's another Aggie, and we've had great cheese from there. Our own Blake attended San Luis Obispo, which is an Aggie school. He was going there to learn dairy
farming, yeah.
Dairy farming. And that's where he had his first good glasses in and decided that he was going to change course and go into that enology program instead. So we're damn lucky he did.
That is fantastic.
Yeah,
So
we
he's
are.
got a little bit of a cow background
Oh yeah,
with your cow background.
absolutely. We all.
Yeah, well, he was raised up in Humboldt.
Okay, sir. That's
Well, not all of it.
He wants all of it. Okay, you're good. You're good. The other thing I have on the table here are some Parmesan Crisps, which are just another nice little addition to any soup. You can float it on top.
Because it does add some texture and some crunch
A little
too,
bit,
right? And
yeah.
obviously a little salty,
And the
a little
croutons
salty
the
explosion.
croutons are already in there. Parmesan crisps you make with 2.5 ounces of grated Parmesan cheese. Heat your oven to 400. Lay a piece of parchment on your cookie sheet. Put little, tablespoons full of Parmesan. You want a couple?
Absolutely.
On your parchment and bake it for 3 or 4 minutes. Watch it closely because it will.
And when you're talking about grated, do you use like a little thicker grate or do you use like a microplane? Which is better for this? Because I've never made these before and I want to make some.
I bought it at the store and it was grated
Oh.
But
That grated Parmesan. That sounds fantastic.
I would say not the thick, not
too thick.
Not the thick grate, the smaller grate.
A little nice shaving.
Yeah,
okay, but not as fine as the microplaner. Okay.
Absolutely. You got it.
Thank you.
All right. So there you go. How is it?
All right,
Oh,
let's
yeah,
let's
go
get in
for it.
there. All right, here we go. All right, I'm going for the. I enjoyed mustard greens on their own when I was talking with Jim this morning. And he was promising it was gonna go absolutely fantastic with the soup. So I'm going for the mustard greens.
Yeah, I mean what we have out in our cover crop. We were just talking about that, a little bit ago. What we're trying to accomplish by our cover crop in the vineyard, and what it is blooming flowers, because the blooming flowers actually help us. It's why you do companion planting out there. And what we do is we like these blooming flowers. This time of the year, the mustard's coming in, the wild radish are coming in, the onions. And I took Brad around this morning and we went out grazing in the field. And
I thought I'd had every type of onion possible, but he pulled up a little bit of wild onion for me this morning, and it was just unbelievable. It was almost like a hybrid between an onion and a garlic, and it was unbelievable. And that's in here as well. But I've got to talk about all these wonderful the butternut squash, the acorn squash, all those beautiful flavors now mixed in with the creme fraiche, and fantastic. And what's it doing to the wine for me is it's really, because Zinfandel has a spicy character to it, right? The soup has a spicy character to it, but the pairing is giving me an even more expression of both in a really pleasant way.
Well, the unique thing about the La Cosecha, and they actually, now that I think about it, I didn't plan to have the La Cosecha with the harvest soup. It didn't occur to me. But, dumb luck is great always. But the important part of this is a 3-valley blend. This is a blend 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 of our Alexander Ancestor Zin, a Dry Creek Zinfandel that I farm also for the Voigt family, and then a friend of ours, Todd Moss's vineyard from Sonoma Valley. And what I have the sense that I can pick up all those 3 valleys in here, because this wine to me is exotic. It's got this really wild flavors. I can smell the sweet spice characteristic of the Alexander Valley.
And that's more Alexander Valley.
Yeah. And then I can get that kind of the mid palate brambleberry quality of the Sonoma Valley.
And is that because Sonoma's just a little cooler?
It does. Well, it's mediated again by the Pacific coast.
And then their soils are a little bit different too.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
They're more volcanic, more gravel run.
Like old river bottom.
Yeah, old river bottom, and you get a really different characteristic? Because you got to remember, the American viticultural areas are we talked about a little bit last time about them. They are areas that are distinct, and every plant, no matter what they are, respects where they grow.
Yes.
And brings to fore what it does. And Sonoma Valley has this kind of a brambleberry characteristic.
I think it helps out with complexity.
It does.
So it's just not all strawberries and cherries.
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying that fact because most Americans in super cherry driven, very, very bright cherry, very bright jammy up front. But I'm getting a sophistication in this wine that is absolutely fantastic. And I think it's that Sonoma, it's the Sonoma wine that's kind of bringing the sweet spice of Alexander Valley and the jamminess of Dry Creek together.
Well, I really like those walnuts in there.
Oh, they're fantastic. You're going to have to try some of the mutant walnuts when you come up here. And he'll explain to you, we're not going to get into that. He'll explain to you why they're mutants, but they are absolutely fantastically. They taste absolutely fantastic.
My walnut trees, I planted them when I first moved up here in 76. I planted them actually in 78. And I got them from a catalog. Anybody that does gardening knows that you get your seed catalog, and there was always a kid on the front holding the world's largest apple or pumpkin or whatever it was. And so back then it was the world's largest walnut. And I bought 2 trees, and that's in the old days you could actually purchase walnut trees interstate, but you can't now because of disease problems. But I did then, and we got them here, and they were in fact huge walnuts. Guess what? I know it's mathematically impossible, but you know how walnuts make 2 halves?
They're supposed to.
Well, ours does sometimes 3 halves and 4 halves. And that's true. I mean, it's absolutely true.
I can vouch for it. I've seen it live. It is a thirds, it does quarters. It is a crazy tree that produces all of them.
But each year, I crack them all, and then I go up and visit Eliza's family cabin up in Washington State, and I shell them all up there, and then bring them back the shell down here. It's my therapy up there, and that time of the year. And what's unusual about them is that when you toast them, the outside skins come off.
They showed it to me today.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it. I thought Jim was up there just peeling these skins off the walnuts, but after he toasts them, they just rub them in a cloth, and then the skins fall off, where all the bitter flavors are actually at. And so this makes it still has that really intense walnut flavor, but it's not quite as bitter. And then so all of the wonderful spice of the soup, the creme fraiche for the creaminess, that little bit of Parmesan running around in there too. But when you pick up a walnut in the soup, it's absolutely fantastic. It kind of brings all the flavors together because it throws in this earthiness. And I would say the walnut actually, kind of tames the squash and allows it to be a little more rich.
Well, it does. It adds another component that squash doesn't have. And this recipe is really easy to make. You just basically bake the squash and then throw it in a pot and then blenderize it with secret herbs and spices that you all know about at this point. And then
not so secret.
Yeah, not so secret. And that's it. There's not much to it.
No.
Add salt to taste, pepper to taste, and then add whatever you got left over in the refrigerator in terms of
the toasted bread's coming into play for me as well. And the really bright fresh spice of what you clipped out of the vineyard today is really so nice.
And,
beautiful.
And yeah, as we revisit recipes, these are, as I say, living things. And this is a one pot. You don't need to saute the onion and garlic in a separate pan. Before the squash comes out of the oven and it sits on the side while it cools, and then in your pan you cook the onion and the garlic and get that blooming. Then put the squash in then put the, we use vegetable stock, low-fat vegetable stock this round. And then the addition of the half and half, which just creams it up a bit. And then Jim used the immersion blender. It's one pot. It's not a messy blender, Cuisinart, multiple gadget thing. Well, there's one gadget, and I really recommend the immersion blender.
And easy to clean too.
Oh,
Just throw it underneath the sink and it's
Yeah.
basically done.
It is
I
fun.
love, we just recently got one as well.
Yeah.
Love the immersion blender.
Yeah, absolutely. And it came with a milk frother, and I haven't used that.
What?
I know. I'll use that. again.
We'll come up for lattes later. Is that what you're saying? That sounds fantastic.
So then what happened was that, you know, obviously the wine was aged in barrel, and traditionally I don't like a lot of barrel flavors in our wines that we do, and I don't like it because you know I'm not a beaver. I don't like wood, and I'm a grape grower. I want my fruit to speak to you.
Yes.
And so basically there's about 20% new oak on this, a blend of American and French oak. And so there's not a lot of oak presence to cloud the fruit characteristics.
Is the guy on the winemaking side of things, especially with Zin, I don't want the annoyance of a heavily oaked wine. I think because of all the other spices. And so I don't notice the oak. And for me, that's where oak really has its place, is to bring some character and some subtlety and nuance, maybe some vanilla notes or something like that, but not the oaky, heavy tannin flavors. And so for me personally, as a person on the winemaking side, I'm with you. I want to highlight the fruit that I get and have that be the most expressive thing. But oak has its place for the aging and all the other important things, but I don't get it. It's not like, oh, Jim just smells like Jim used 50% new American oak and maybe some of this. Those are all in the background. They're there, but they're not interfering with the fruit. Giving us, and also now you get subtlety and nuance that if the oak was driving, you're going to miss out on when he was talking about the brambles. We would miss out on the brambleberry flavors because the oak would be overpowering it. And so this is why I really love this wine, and it is a great Three Valley expression.
Well, the thing is that, you know, for me, I want you to say, I don't want you to ask me, oh, that's wonderful wine, what barrel did you use? I want you to say to me, this is wonderful wine. What block did it come from?
Yes.
Where did it, or where was the origin at?
What's the sun? Is it Are we over on Geyser Peak, or are we over here where we're just on the upheaval mountains as well, which are way more important? Yes, I actually do, because I was told that these are great with the wine on their own as well, just like the other cheese, but very different. So this is the Parmesan.
Yep. Well, Parmesan again is a sharp cheese.
Mm-hmm. And with that nice salty characteristic, really uplifting the palate is what I like. And you know, this when we put the Parmesan crisps on top, and that toastiness of the Parmesan, this is what I forgot to mention, also kind of helped bring that walnutty, toasty flavor out of the squash. Absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those little bits of salt with the Parmesan roasty flavors, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I like it very much. Everything on a whole about this dish, I absolutely love. And believe it or not, it was actually cool for us today in California as well. Our rain clouds left us, and we had a nice chilly, almost frosty morning, and so we're really enjoying this. And I know that a lot of you folks were saying we're so glad it's soup today, because most of the country is buried in 6 feet of snow or 6 inches of ice. So I hope that you guys are enjoying these things as well. Which actually, do we have any questions from anybody? Cooking questions,
it looks
wine?
really hard for anybody to ask a question
Because they're all diving into it. So are we. I am too. I'm going. Okay. All right. Eating and smiling.
People are diving into their
That's
soup.
absolutely fantastic.
That's the right answer. That is absolutely the right answer.
They're giving suggestions. Who was it? Luann Trout says instead of creme fraiche, she used a dab of creamy ricotta.
Oh,
And
nice.
Creamy
somebody
ricotta,
else chimed
absolutely.
in, and I can't see that at the moment, that they used some pepitos or pumpkin seeds.
Oh,
on the
absolutely.
top,
Pepitas,
which is
yeah.
also
Actually,
gonna give it a little
Eliza,
crunch and a little
Eliza and I
sauce.
were kicking around that same thing. Normally in the past, we would add pepitas, right?
Right. Or even toasted pine nuts.
Yep.
Which is another small portion. But,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
we have walnuts, so that's what we use.
That
Yeah, and Laura says plain yogurt is just as good for a lower calorie alternative.
there you go.
And then we do have a more detailed question from Elizabeth Price. She says, Three Valleys, are they the same Zin clones or from different vineyards?
Oh,
Can you tell us a bit
man.
about
Okay.
that?
That is a toughie. Okay. There are 3 valleys. They are likely 3 different, likely they are 3 different clones of Zinfandel. So that's going to complex things already. You know, the problem there is that getting back to this thing, if I had all 3 clones, all 3 valleys had the same clone, it would still be different.
Yes.
Because you got to remember that the grapes respect where they grow. They're influenced
Absolutely.
by the sun, the fog, the heat, the cold, all these kind of things. And you know, they're still different. That's what the really cool things about AVAs is that they're different places. It's like being on a different continent or a different universe, really. And when you make a wine like this, what you're doing is you're, at one hand, respecting where the grapes come from.
That was me. Sorry. Everything's okay.
Okay. He dropped his.
I lost my glasses and my phone. Oh my God. Hilarious. Oh, but there's the glasses came back. So if I need to see anything or read anything, thank you.
Well, that shot way over there. Holy mackerel.
Well, I'm not just gonna, if I'm gonna interrupt you, I'm gonna interrupt you properly. Not some slight interruption.
You know. Anyways, the thing is that it's what makes AVAs different.
Mhm.
And what makes them special. Every one of them has something that rings the bell. And when we put this blend together, what we're hoping to achieve is taking all 3 places, their nuance, their thing that makes them famous, and making it famous, putting them together, have them complement one another.
Yep.
This is the harvest. This is what you get.
No, it's absolutely fantastic. And bringing all 3 of those valleys together like you did here, I've been doing it with the Russian River in Dry Creek and Russian River in Alexander Valley. The last 4 or 5 years, I've been blending the Russian River in specifically because of the cooler climate from the Russian River to balance the warm Alexander Valley and warm Dry Creek.
Why? I mean, what are you getting there? Well, if you get less ripeness, don't you get a little more acid?
I'm going to get higher acid, and if I have higher acid, the jammy, intense fruitiness of the Zinfandel can be mediated by that little bit of acid, and then the incredible white pepper of Dry Creek then becomes a nice spice versus just strict white pepper. And where Dry Creek, a little more strawberries to me, Alexander Valley, nice bright cherry for me. I get sort of a hybrid cherry strawberry out of the Russian River, and so it brings the acid and that dry characteristic to the wine, and I think it allows it to be more complex.
Well, here's the interesting thing about Zinfandel. America's great, okay, because it's grown nowhere else in the world except for in southern Italy, where it's known as Primitivo, and that's a clone that came from the U.S. to Italy in about 1930, I think, is when they have records of it, or 1830, excuse me, 1830. They have records of that when it arrived
I
there.
thought it was from Czechoslovakia.
Well, that's where
That's a good question. If you didn't hear that off camera, is this from Czechoslovakia?
Yeah. Zinfandel.
I was about to go there.
Well, I'm just saying, as they say, behind every great figure, there's a good person rolling their eyes.
Well, the Sardinians also claim just about every grape on the planet too.
So anyway, no, go ahead about the.
Anyway, so the origin of true Zinfandel is in fact not Czechoslovakia, but often no, not Italy. It is. I'm trying to think of.
Are we rolling the Mediterranean?
It's just Mediterranean. It's Eastern Mediterranean. In fact, it was actually found on an island off of
Because I'm going to be educated here because I don't
Croatia.
know.
Thank you, JJ.
Thank you.
Yeah, it wasn't Czechoslovakia, it was Croatia.
Croatia.
Thank you.
There we go. Because that's what I was like. All right, those darn Czechs over there. All right, so that's where I believe.
That's where it originated.
Yeah.
And the thing is that why it becomes American's grape is we don't know. We don't know how it got here, absolutely. But we also know that it's not growing anywhere else in Europe.
Correct.
Okay. And it became here and it was really a well adapted. It was the everything grape. It makes wonderful eating grapes, table grapes. It makes wonderful jellies and jams. And it makes wonderful wine. Problem is with it is that as it ripens, we all know that Zinfandel needs to be ripe when you pick it. The acids drop out quite precipitously. And when you're talking about blending wines from different regions in order to maintain those acids,
right?
Russian River, you don't get quite the ripeness, but you do preserve some of the acidity.
Yep.
Well, when you blend that with an area like Dry Creek that has a lot of ripeness and not so much in the acid department, or Alexander Valley when you have a lot of fruit and a lot of bright fruit, I should say. Yep. But on the tail end of that, you got to moderate the acidity a little bit. I think it's a challenge, and it's a challenge of making good Zinfandel. Putting this blend together like this really kind of solves that problem. Question.
So how can we have a Zinfandel like this that pairs so well with barbecue that also pairs amazingly with a fall or winter soup? How is it working?
How did it work with the barbecue? I haven't had this particular one, but I know in my heart I can taste this is going to go.
You're the barbecue.
I am a barbecue guy. I love barbecue. I love barbecuing. I love the whole thing, managing the smoke, balance, the whole 9 yards. What's going to make this great with barbecue? The classic Dry Creek Zin possibly is better known for your sweet barbecue sauces. Because you have all that big jammy fruit to sort of cut through those heavy barbecue sauces. This, on the other hand, can handle probably a medium sweet barbecue sauce for me, good smoke, because it has that nice acid. It's going to help balance the sugar that's coming from the barbecue sauce, and then hopefully the meat, underneath, whether it happens to be a rib or anything else you'd be barbecuing, will come through and give you some nice meaty notes, and it's going to be fantastic.
I think also we got to kind of understand is barbecue sauces and stuff are spicy.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, well,
this is a spicy wine.
Yes.
Okay. And that's how it can be. You take the soup, and the soup is spicy. It's not hot, but it's got a lot of action going on, and that intense, sweet spice aromatics, really adds and complements the spiciness of the soup.
Right.
I really think that it could do the same thing with barbecue. We'll find out this summer.
We will absolutely find out this summer. But in my wheelhouse, this is the right one.
Here's Got a challenge for you.
Okay.
Uh-oh. I'm going rogue, everyone. Okay.
All right.
I was thinking about the summertime, and I was thinking about, okay, we ought to have a rib smackdown. I think that I make some really
Oh
good,
no. Oh no. Can our
ribs.
friendship handle a rib smackdown?
Well,
Oh boy.
perhaps in June it might work out.
That sounds fantastic.
Yay.
I make one hell of a rib. I'll smack down with both of you. You're on.
right.
Okay.
3 ways. Let's go.
Okay. So
All
we'll
right.
do our
So,
own
so
little-
your ribs actually have a sauce component.
They do.
And my ribs are completely dry. So just a dry rub. So we can absolutely compare and contrast
I do both.
how these are going to go.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll give you side sauces, but I will not put that sauce on for you. You must put that sauce on yourself. So I will give you some side
Okay.
sauces to dip in there.
Okay. That's something to think about for the
It's a
summertime.
hybrid.
Yes.
Well,
Tickets are wanting to be sold for the rib smackdown here. We got people
All right.
saying
Well,
Okay.
I'm not a bragger usually, but I've got 2 belt buckles from the Geyserville Rib Cook-Off, where I've been in competition.
Are they turning green yet?
Here's the deal. All right, the competition wasn't so stiff down there. So sorry, all of you folks that were up against me. All right, this is really exciting.
Okay.
Here's the deal. I love wet ribs. I love dry ribs. I love anything that's coming off of a
Ribs,
barbecue.
yeah.
So I can't wait to do this. And I'm glad you didn't make it a brisket throwdown, because I just did a 12-hour brisket for the Super Bowl. And I've realized that I cannot wake up at midnight to prepare food and be okay at noon. So that's not happening. But I can do a 4-hour rib.
I've never tried brisket to do it well. I got to tell you, I'm a little frightened by it, but I can
It's
hammer
frightening.
some ribs.
Yep. All right.
And all I used has been to my plow place when I've done ribs in the summertime. Yeah, they liked it.
All right.
It was passable.
Since my ribs usually take around 4 hours on the grill, what I've also been doing lately is throwing a pork belly in, so that I can enjoy
Okay, we're
some
gonna
bacon.
raise you some salmon wings.
What?
Yeah, have you had a salmon?
I don't even. I've never seen a salmon fly.
Okay.
I didn't know they had wings.
No, it's this beautiful choice cut from a salmon that you can
That you can pull off on the barbecue as well.
Anyways, we really went off road here.
We did, but you know what? Here's the thing. We love growing grapes. We love making wine, and we love the food aspect, and all of what's really, Jim's passion and my passion for wine making. It doesn't just stop there. Food is a huge component for all of us. And did it make my wine taste better? Did my wine make the food taste better? And so we're passionate about those things as well.
This is a two-way street.
It is, because honestly, if you're just sitting on a patio sipping on a rosé, that's fantastic. You don't necessarily need anything with it, but most of the time, wine is about breaking bread with your family and sitting down to a meal and your family and friends, and you come together. And not only you get to come together because this soup is absolutely fantastic, and then Jim throws in everything from his vineyard garden, and then you put the wine component on, and then it just keeps bringing more comfort and the things that when I think about family and friends is sitting around a dining room table. And if the wine could add something a little special to the whole mix is what it's really about.
Yep, absolutely. So now we have a little bit of housekeeping to do, and that is one of the things that we're going to do. We're going to do another batch in April, and we're already been working on recipes, and we're going to extend it out. We talked today about doing some really cool stuff. We talked about the fact that this kind of a series, as far as I know, Has not ever been done before. And we're going to extend that out in kind of interesting ways, I think.
Should we give them some clues to it?
We could give them some clues.
We had some feedback. Our first one, people made the mushroom souffle and then added an Asian salad with it. So they were creating a meal around our 4-course progressive meal, which then made us think that maybe the dinner series should be 4 dinners. So we're this. Don't hold me completely to it, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna be giving you 4 main courses, side suggestions, so that we can actually have a dinner
with us,
together. And that's on the menu. Now, should we talk about our days that we're looking at?
Well, here's the thing: is what we want to do is you guys, we're going to have a poll out there, and what I want to do.
I think it's polling right now. We just sent it out,
even as we speak. Huh?
we're popping in the poll.
Well, what we're going to do is, I want to change the dates. Next April, we're planning on doing it on Sundays, because I figure Sunday afternoon is a cool place, east-west, in a time frame that nobody's hassled by having to come home from work and get right in and do it.
And we actually can enjoy a beautiful Sunday dinner together.
And yeah, and that's what we're planning on doing.
Except for
Easter. Except for Easter. That's gonna be on Saturday.
We're gonna do it right before.
Well,
nothing's easy.
No, it's complex when you're dealing with Jim. More complex when you add what's his name here. However, the however part of that's where we're planning on doing, and we're gonna stretch it out. We had Brad had an idea today that we got such great feedback from people saying, "Oh, this is the first time I ever made a souffle and it came out perfect." Okay, this is wonderful. I never tried it. Got to do it again. And so Brad had the idea today of making a little video ahead of time and talking about how he did it, how he made the recipe. So, a few days ahead of the event, you guys could actually see how it's done.
And we were talking about that today, and I've made a commitment that we're going to produce basically a cooking video. Recipes are great, but seeing the little tips and tricks as you're going along. So we're going to produce these things, give you guys some heads up, because not everybody has made a cassoulet, or not everybody's seared a scallop or made
you're
souffle.
giving us. You're
we can do other things too.
Secrets,
This is real, Brad.
Or we could smoke some ribs or something like that.
So,
but there's some fantastic things that we're going to be, and it's going to be, it's exciting for us, as you can see, for us to be able to show you how we produce these things. All the tips and tricks that you brought into this are helping people make these things much better. And so we heard the feedback, and we're gonna make these.
And I think it'll be something that as far as I know, it's not been done before, and you're going to get a lot of value out of it.
A lot of folks are loving this idea. Emily said that she loved the video montage of the soup prep tonight, so she loves the video cooking idea. And right now, it looks like 85% of the folks are clocking in and saying 4 o'clock works best for them.
That is Pacific Standard or daylight.
Depending.
Yeah.
And 59% have clocked in and said the weekend works better for them.
Okay.
So that gives us a little. Oh, and then there's Todd, who just said, "You had me at scallop."
Oh no, Jim! How does loose lips, and then my lips are gonna get looser. All right, we're gonna have
positive response.
Lots of great things coming. We're having just as much fun, obviously, with this, and we're really enjoying putting these things together and getting to actually spend quality time with our friends.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
This is again something that as far as I know has not been done, and we're kind of learning how to do it. You saw our little montage at a time. We're putting that together.
2 weeks, and we put a montage together. Look what's going to happen. We have another month.
Yeah, no kidding. So it's a lot of fun, and
absolutely,
guys.
Oh, wait, what are you guys doing tomorrow?
Oh, what's happening
Oh,
tomorrow?
what's happening tomorrow? Left Bank.
Holy mackerel.
Left Bank on Facebook.
We just don't, not many things go on out here in wine country. Yeah, I'm cooking too. And here's the best part is I had some prepared from the holidays when we did this before, but they didn't have the right.
Oysters.
I've got to toast rye bread.
And find your Velveeta that you stored
Oh my
away.
Lord. No, I had to go get it again. And here's the embarrassing part. I had to ask for Velveeta a second time in a store so I could find it.
It's with the cream cheese.
Here's the thing. My God, no. They had it with crackers.
Eliza, no. Oh.
Because since it's technically not cheese. But it was something from my childhood.
That's the Left Bank. Left Bank is our group of local family wineries we put together a while ago, and we put on these, things once a month as a group, and we're going to be down in downtown Geyserville.
Oh my gosh,
at
down
Brad's place,
the thriving metropolis of
Yes,
downtown
yeah.
Geyserville, and one of the newest, one of the skyscrapers in downtown Geyserville.
Two
It's
stories,
two and a
yeah.
half.
2.5.
There's that barrel ceiling that
Oh,
goes up a little
okay.
bit.
All right.
No, we're gonna be down at
The
my
one block
place
of Geyserville.
having fun. We call it 60 yards of awesome down there. But we'll be down at my place. What's really neat with the Left Bank is what Jim really wanted to do was just highlight the fact that up here in northern Alexander Valley, there's some beautiful small producers that you may have never heard of before that are producing some absolutely great wine. And so we have a little coalition of just our little four wineries up here, and we love doing things together. And that's turned into a food smackdown.
Yeah.
So we've got food tomorrow.
Yes.
And I'm not going to give it away though,
today.
although there's some rye involved.
Yeah. It's what it is tomorrow. Our theme. We typically have some themes involved, and it's going to be appetizers. And we have oysters, baked oysters that Eliza put a wonderful recipe together for that, and each of us are going to provide something like that. So it's going to be. You're going to provide.
I'm providing a
family recipe.
A family recipe that was only for holidays, and the reason why I had to make my own rye toastettes is because they only put these rye toastettes out during the holidays for crazy people like me.
Oh, right.
So now I've got to make my own rye toastettes, but it's okay. We can handle an oven.
Mm-hmm.
And just an old 1970s appetizer that I remember at every one of our family parties.
Wine pairing?
The wine pairing, I have no idea what I promised I was going to pair with that.
Okay.
JJ, does anybody remember what I'm supposed to pair with it? Do you remember what you're pairing? Well, obviously yours is going to go white.
It's the Sauv Blanc.
Sauv Blanc.
Okay, you're doing Sauv Blanc.
Said the Gewürz, but
I think I'm doing.
for the Left Bank.
I think I should do my Mourvedre, and if I wasn't going to do my Mourvedre, I'm still going to. I think the Mourvedre is going to pair nicely with that.
A nice acid, yeah.
We were going to do Gewürztraminer, but thanks to the pairing.
Are you sold out?
With
The souffle, we're sold out.
We sold out. So
That is awesome.
Gewürztraminer's gone until we get into the.
Oh no!
20.
Yeah.
That is
It's
sad and
coming.
awesome all
It's
the
coming.
same time.
It's
And the Gewürztraminer are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I've actually had people contact me personally and ask me, was that real? And I was like, no, that's real. That is what our Gewürztraminer is supposed to taste like. And so I'm sure they were part of it.
And it will have a new release out. But anyway.
Who's joining us for Left Bank? Is it Petroncelli and?
No, Kelly and Young is going to
Kelly
be
Young is back.
back.
Maddie will be there from Kelly and Young, and then Julie from Petroncelli.
But her husband's going to stand in
She's got to
because she's zooming.
Yeah,
She's
zooming
but
someplace else.
there will be a representative
Her
from
husband,
Petroncelli.
Yeah, her husband's going to be there, and so of course you and I will be there. So it'll be the four of us, and Ozzy. Ozzy is our tasting room guy and a really great moderator, and so
He helps us get through the whole thing.
we do. Yeah.
Alex will
Oh,
be
and
behind the
be looking for our amazing new sound.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna throw it out there that we're gonna have great sound for tomorrow.
we'll have better sound, and that's always been our.
I'm just gonna say for those of you that may have not had the best sound quality on those, we have upped our game.
And lip reading.
Yes, we are gonna make it fantastic.
We are going to do fine. We're, like I said, guys, bear with us. a lot of these things we're doing is not commonly done, and we're working our way
But-
through it and learning as we go, and we get better and better.
Yep, you're helping us identify the things we need to work on. We're going to fix them,
Yep.
and I think we did tonight because now I have eaten and I'm full at the end of our show instead of me scarfing
Cheers.
it down. Cheers, cheers, my friends.
Cheers, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. And next
Mm.
week we got Brad's black cherry roasted pork
Oh
tenderloin
my gosh,
with Merlot.
pan-seared roasted pork. Holy mackerel! Yes, it's absolutely
It's going to be
fantastic.
inside this time instead of being outside in the freezing.
Do you want me to
cold.
have it inside? What if we have 70 degrees? All right, we'll go inside.
Not it?
Actually, you know what? We'll put it by the fire. We'll sit by the fire. This next week we froze it up last week. It was warm in the afternoon, but as soon as that sun went down,
Down. Boy, was it
it was
cold.
cold.
Talk about freezing to these folks.
Oh,
back.
oh, okay. What was freezing? What I meant was it went from 65 to 64, and all of a sudden Jim and I were freezing there at the end of the day. Okay, you're right. Don't talk. We know you guys are really struggling. We hope that you find some sunshine soon.
Yes, you will.
All right.
Cheers, everybody.
Black cherry pork. Cheers.
Yep. Next week.